Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Minecraft Archive. I'm Jared3118 and this is episode 13. And in this episode, we are going to be building an island in the sky. But before we get started, I wanted to show you guys an improvement I made to the elevator. I got many comments from you guys saying to add a button instead of the lever, and then at the very top, make a piston push you out of the elevator so you don't accidentally fall back down. So if I go ahead and hop in here and I press this button, up I go, and at the very top, I get pushed out by this piston right here so that I don't accidentally fall back down. And as you can see, all the pistons now go back in, and it essentially resets the elevator. I did read some comments about doing something like I believe it's called a T-flop, T-flip-flop, I don't know. Some type of redstone contraption that would actually make the elevator work two different ways. It would be able to go down and up. But I think this is such a fast way to go down. I'm really not concerned about the elevator being two-way, but I did really like that suggestion. Just want to get moving on with some other projects, so probably won't be doing that. Also, some of that redstone stuff is a little out of my league. If I watch enough YouTube tutorials, I can figure stuff out, but I certainly no redstone inventor or anything like that. So as you can see up here, I have gotten started on the floating islands in the sky, and there is my very first floating island. Please ignore these netherrack kind of staircases connected to the island. They will go away. It's just temporary as I'm doing some construction up there. But basically, I've got this little bridge here that goes over to a water elevator, and I can ride that boat up to the islands. And the reason this bridge is raised is I can actually travel with a boat beneath the bridge, just like so. Alright, so let's go ahead and actually go up this water elevator. And yeah, there are a few different ways, I could have gotten up to this floating island. Um, I believe I could have used maybe a nether portal, and it might be actually a little too close to my other nether portal, and I wouldn't actually be able to travel between two portals in the nether. I think it would just spawn me at the same one. Another option would have been a piston elevator, but there's so much redstone wiring, it would have been very big and bulky, and I wanted something just kind of nice and simple. So it's just, several columns of glass blocks with signs and water source blocks, just like the water elevator I made in Season 2, but a little more simple because I only used one water source block per level. In the one in Season 2, I actually did two water source blocks per level, and I think that made it a bit faster. So if I actually get in here, you can see it's a pretty slow descent, but I kind of like that effect. It just it's really neat. It's like riding an elevator, I guess. But it's a nice view as you're going up. You can see Viewer's Village in the distance. You got a nice view inside all the rooms of the upper part of the tower. And as you can see, I added some glowstone to the bottom of this island. I'll be doing that for every floating island. And it's just a nice little effect so that you can see it from a distance at nighttime. It looks really cool. Alright, so here we go. This island was pretty simple. What I did have to do is this netherrack staircase was a dirt staircase at one point, and I slowly let grass spread all the way up. It got about halfway up, and then I started using a sticky piston to pull the dirt block the rest of the way, but that did take quite a while. But basically, I don't know if you could see this island from here, but from the ground you probably saw it's stone on the bottom, and then there's a couple layers of dirt here on top. And like I say, just pretty simple island, but we're going to get started building a second floating island, and I'm going to keep a little bit of space between each floating island so that I can create some like bridges to connect each floating island. And yes, I will be doing floating islands of all different kinds of biomes. There will be like a desert floating island, a nether floating island, a snowy floating island, all kinds of really cool things like that. But this one will just be another regular floating island with grass on top. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off by just kind of marking out where we want this one to be. We just want to kind of outline this. So You got to realize I'm going to do the stone first, and then from there it's going to actually end up 2 blocks taller because I'm going to add 2 layers of dirt on top of that. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks above where we currently are now. So let's go ahead and trim that down a little bit. Let's go 1, 2. Yeah, actually, just like this. Alright, I know that might be a little confusing right now, but hang in there. And actually, let's make it about here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to draw an outline for this floating island. So the way I did this for the first one is I made kind of like a giant X. And as you can see, it's a really cool view up here above the ocean. You can see kind of like all the landscape beneath the ocean. And, you know, I'm going to make this one fairly large. I think maybe a little bit larger than the other one. So add a couple more blocks and then a stone block. And the reason I'm alternating between cobblestone and stone, stone will be visible when it is all finished. Cobblestone will not. It'll be covered with dirt and stone. So then I'm going to kind of just pick a random middle point. It doesn't have to be the exact middle. As you can see, this is kind of a little bit to the right, but that's okay. No island needs to be like a perfect half sphere or anything like that. So if you make them a little odd shaped, I think they'll look a little bit more natural. So like this side, I'll just make it a little bit shorter, kind of like that. And then I'm going to add a stone block on the end of each of these sides. So you can see here now I just kind of have like an X in the sky, and now it's just a matter of kind of filling this in. So start with the middle, and I'm just going to kind of fill all this in with cobblestone. Alright, there we go. So we've got the cobblestone part filled in, and again, we're not going for perfect symmetry. We want this island to be a little odd shape. And now that we have that, now we're just going to trace the outline of this with stone. Okay, so we have the outline in stone. We've got the middle part filled in with cobblestone. What I'm going to go and do now is I'm actually going to build a dirt staircase so that this grass can slowly start to spread over, because it will take quite some time. And I will... let's see, there'll be 2 layers of dirt on top, so it'll actually be about that tall. I'm just going to kind of fill in the middle here with dirt. And there we go. So that gives a little patch for the grass to spread to, and nicely in the middle of the island so it can spread nice and fast once it gets there. Okay, so that's the easy part. This netherrack staircase is here for a purpose. Basically, what I want to use it for is I want to build a platform directly beneath this floating island. Now, if you are playing in creative mode or you use mods that allow you to fly, you are going to have a much easier time building this floating island. But as we all know, I do not use mods, so I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way and build a platform beneath this floating island so that I have something to stand on while I build the bottom of it. And you might be wondering why monsters aren't spawning even though it's dark out. I'm playing on peaceful mode. I do that sometimes when I'm building or when I'm working on rather large building projects because there's nothing worse than a creeper going out and blowing up your brand new project or your project that's in progress. Alright, so now that we are directly underneath the floating island, we're going to just kind of pick a central point. And this spot here looks good. And we're just going to build a column down like that. And that will mark this point here marks the very bottom of our floating island. That spot right there. So again, this is a matter of just kind of filling this all in. It helps if you just do one layer at a time. And since this is getting a little dark for you guys, let's go ahead and plop some torches down here. And I'm going to finish my platform so that I have something to stand on. Okay, there we go. We got the platform all finished. And you might be wondering why I am using netherrack. It's just simply nice and easy to destroy. Once I use my pickaxe to pick it up, it won't take long to pick up all these pieces of netherrack. Because we don't want them there, obviously, once our floating island is all finished. But now we have a nice, simple platform that we can walk around and start to fill this in. And we just want to slowly bring in each layer. So, for example, on this layer, we want to bring the stone in like that. And just remember as you do this, it does not have to be perfect. The more imperfect you are, the more natural it's going to look, so just have fun with it. And just keep in mind, you know, we're trying to get it down to this point down here, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 layers to bring it down all to one point, so that's plenty of space. And sometimes it helps if you just go ahead and do the outline before you start on everything else. And what I did for this island is I brought it in very slowly at first, and then as I got closer to that point, I brought it in a little bit faster. I'll show you what I mean here in just a little bit. And if I wanted to do a little bit better job of building this netherrack platform, I probably would have made it 2 blocks lower, simply because once I get down to this layer here, it's going to be rather difficult, but we'll find a way to make it work. And hopefully I do not run out of materials. Looks like I might need a little bit more cobblestone. You will use quite a bit of cobblestone if you use that to fill it in, but thankfully I've got like 5, 6 chests full. We got some lightning. And the nice thing about working on the bottom of the island is you're protected from the rain if you're caught in a thunderstorm. But yeah, I've got like 5 or 6 chests completely full of 64 stacks of cobblestone, so that's not going to be an issue. I also am using netherrack for these platforms because I was using dirt, but I am running rather low on dirt, and I know it's very easy to obtain, but I'm down to these 3 full stacks here and then just 20 more, so since I'm going to be building several floating islands, I have to watch my dirt consumption. Alright, there we go. So 1 layer done. I think you get the picture. I'm going to go ahead and do these next few layers off camera, and I'm probably going to have to run back to my base to get more cobblestone. Oops, didn't mean to put that there. And yeah, we're probably going to have to remove that. But yeah, I think you get the picture. I will finish up this layer, get more cobblestone, and I will be right back. Okay, I have finished up 2 more layers. of the floating island. As you can see, it's coming along quite nicely. And these last two are going to be a little bit more tricky just because I don't have much room to work with, but we're just going to bring this in quite a bit more than the other layers. The other layers I was only bringing in about one block at a time, but this layer I'll bring in several blocks at a time. And I want to make sure I fill all this in. Okay, and yes, this part's going to be extremely tricky, if not impossible. What I'm actually going to do is destroy part of this, and that doesn't help at all. I'm really going to have to bring another layer over. Oh, let's try this little trick. This can be a little dangerous at times. We're going to put water here, and if I'm lucky, I can place a block beneath right there. That's a little trick you can use. Basically, you just take a bucket of water, place it on the layer you're at, float down a little bit, place a layer below, and there we go. Now I can kind of work this over here. So yeah, I know many of you always request to see more of the building process, so I hope you guys that do enjoy this kind of thing are enjoying this type of episode. Obviously, just kind of speeding up the parts that I want to show where I'm not commentating and it's a little repetitive, and then for the parts that are really super repetitive, I just go ahead and cut those out. I think you guys get the picture. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys like this type of video. I don't do these a whole lot because I tend to build off camera, and the main reason for that is just I'm indecisive and I'm OCD, so there's just simply not enough time to put that all into one episode. So it's a lot easier just to build something and then show you guys the end product. But as we can see here now, just got to wrap up the very bottom layer, or I guess second to last layer. And there we go, all finished. Now I want to add glowstone blocks to the bottom part here while I'm down here, because if I forget, it's quite a pain to be able to do this without building another platform up here. So I put the glowstone on that back side of that floating island. So let's kind of mix it up a little bit, and let's put it on this side here. So I'm just going to dig out some of the smooth stone and replace it with glowstone. So it gives it, you know, somewhat of a natural look. Oops, let's put one there. But lights up the underside of the island, and like I say, it really looks great from far away at nighttime. Okay, so that covers the bottom part of the island. Let's go ahead and let's go back up to the top part of the island. Obviously, I need to remove all that netherrack once I get a chance. But let's see how our dirt is going. Not great at all. So, let me see what kind of material I have. I don't have everything I need for a sticky piston. I do need a piece of redstone. So actually, let me go ahead and show you guys that trick I'm talking about, where you can use a sticky piston to pull a block to where you need it. So I'm going to go back down to my tower, and actually I'll show you something kind of cool. There's two ways down this thing. Because there's nothing but ocean down there, I really can jump off just about anywhere as long as I don't land on the bridge or the platform down there, or I can ride the boat back down. And as you can see, I have a little glass wall here that makes me fall straight down. Ooh, scary. Where am I gonna land? In water. Whoa. Ouch. I must have nicked that boat or something. Normally that doesn't happen. Normally you don't get kicked out like that. Normally you end up right about here, and it's a pretty narrow drop, but you drop straight down. There's really not a whole lot to worry about. Whoa, where'd my boat go? I think that boat might have gotten destroyed, but that's why I have backups down here. Alright, so anyways, I got all distracted with that. And I'm distracted by this now too. How's this look from a distance? Ah, not bad. Now if that cloud wasn't there, oh, it's going to pass. You can see the glowstone on this floating island. Alright, so we need to remove all that netherrack to get a good view of it from below, but from what I can see, it looks, fairly natural. Alright, I'm going to get that redstone, and then we're going to go back up to the top of the island. Okay, I grabbed a sticky piston out of one of my chests down there. I didn't end up having to craft one. And I grabbed a lever, and what we're going to do is we're going to use a little trick to get grass quickly from this island here over to our new floating island. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the sticky piston so that it is facing down towards a block of grass, and we need to provide some power to that sticky piston, so we're going to put a dirt block next to it. And we are going to quickly flip the switch, and as you can see, it brought that grass up a level. And I'm going to go ahead and pick this up here. And we're going to do that again. Alright, looks like we need to just bring it up a couple more levels. And one more. So it's a little tricky pulling it vertically, but horizontally it's not bad at all. And the main thing I don't want to do is drop my sticky piston in the ocean below and have to go diving after it. So, okay, now we've got the grass at the level we want. Now all we got to do is pull it the rest of the way. And I think by now you guys probably get how this works, so let me just go ahead and speed this up. And there we go. Now we have that grass block all the way over here. Going to surround it with dirt, and now that should spread fairly quickly. We can add some torches to make sure it has adequate lighting, but since it's daytime it should be fine, but that'll spread even through the night now. And one thing I did notice, since I need to be conservative about my dirt, this dirt won't actually be visible, so there's no sense in having it down there. And we're going to replace all that with cobblestone. Alright, so what we want to do for the next part of the island is give the illusion that the dirt is 2 layers deep. So this bottom layer is actually going to be mostly cobblestone because it's not going to be visible, and we don't want to waste any dirt. If wasting dirt's not an issue, of course you can just use dirt. Okay, and then we basically just outline this layer with dirt, and in some places we make the dirt stick out a little farther than the stone. Nothing too fancy. Again, the whole thing we're looking for is imperfection, not perfection. You know, unlike a lot of things in Minecraft, like the tower, I wanted to keep very symmetrical and all that. The floating islands are nice because you can just kind of do them however you want. All right, there we go. And now this top layer is just going to be all dirt. Hopefully I have enough. Let's see how much I got. Yeah, looks like I'll have enough to finish the project. Probably just enough, but if I want to build another island, I'm going to have to go out and harvest some dirt. All right, so let me speed this up and we'll just fill in this last part. All right, and I actually need a little bit more dirt to finish this project. Just some of the edges here. I guess I can grab some of it from right here. But I won't have quite enough to finish this top spot here. But that's okay. I'll go and get the rest of that off camera. But you get the idea. You can see the grass is already starting to spread. And as it spreads more and more, it'll pick up speed and it won't take very long to get done at all. One thing I will need, I don't want this netherrack to be here. I want a nice bridge to get across. So let's see, that was about, what, 4 or 5 spaces away. We are going to make some wooden stairs. And use that to get across and to connect to the other side. Whoa, that is not a wooden stair. And there we go. I'll add some railing to that eventually, but that'll work for now. Okay, now if we go back down to the bottom part of the island, this is where it gets fun. We can kind of decorate this a little bit. Now, on this island, I didn't do anything real special. But for this one, what I'm thinking is maybe have a waterfall coming out of the side, and then possibly having some vines hanging from this. Now, I've never used vines before, and from what I understand, once I place them, they will grow all the way down until they like run into water. So it might be a little too much. We'll go ahead and just plant like 3 or 4 spots of vines and we'll kind of see how it grows over time. But hopefully it's not too crazy. Let's go ahead and let's place that there. Okay, and then let's do like a waterfall. Now before I do the waterfall, let's go ahead and start picking up all this netherrack. Okay, now that all that netherrack is gone, let's go ahead and pick out a spot for the waterfall. And this spot here looks okay. And we're gonna dig that in a little bit. Now let's see if I can get something to stand on. And we do want this all to be stone. Don't want any cobblestone visible. And basically, sure that water doesn't hit anything as it spills out. Okay. And place a bucket here and a bucket there. And there we go. So now we got like a nice natural looking waterfall coming out the side of that island there. And we can see the vines are starting to spread downwards. And my only complaint about those is I wish they didn't go all the way down to the ocean. So I might see if I can look up on YouTube, or maybe you guys can leave a comment, any tricks to keep those vines from growing all the way down. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is once they get to the length that I want them to be at, place like leaves or like a block at the bottom of the vines. But see, I don't know if that'll work because vines, I don't know if they actually count as a block. I don't know. Something to think about. But alright, so the bottom part of that island's done. Grass is spreading nicely. I did go and get some more dirt off camera. Let's go ahead and finish this up here. And there we go. The top part of the island's complete. Something else we can do is, I think I have some bone meal on me. Pick up this. If we want this to look a little bit more natural, one thing you can do, instead of having it all be one flat surface, you can kind of raise the land in certain parts of it. Maybe something natural like that. Let's see, can I make that any larger with, I only got one more block to work with. Something like that. But just do little areas of raised land instead of making it all nice and flat. This one I just didn't have a whole lot of room, but also I can take some bone meal, kind of add some grass up here to make it look a little bit more natural. And also if you want to do little stuff, you can add like fences along the edge of the islands, so that you don't accidentally fall off, and it looks fairly nice. And we can plant some trees up here. Let's go ahead and do one back here. Now, I like all my trees to be exactly 3 blocks tall because I like to place torches there on that middle level. So I'll just kind of place these here as like temporary trees. Eventually chop them down and keep planting them. Geez, can't talk. There we go. Until we get one that is exactly that size. Because then you can take torches and place it on it like this, and it looks fairly nice. Alright, so I think that about wraps up the floating islands tutorial. Now, while it's still nighttime, let's go ahead and travel down here. Let's see if this works as intended this time. Last time I kind of got kicked out into the ocean a bit. It should just, yes, it should just land right in between those 2 stone brick areas, and it'll just be sitting there until next time I'm ready to use it. But if we climb down here, we can take a look at that glowstone, and you can see how that really lights up the bottom of the floating islands, and that looks pretty sweet. I am very happy with how that turned out. And I think I'm going to like those vines. I think I'll probably plant some more on my very first floating island. And you can see the waterfall spilling all the way down. I've got a lot of really neat ideas planned for this. I think at some point there's going to be water flowing from one island down to another, and then down to another one, and then finally into the ocean. That was actually an idea from one of my viewers, and I apologize for not remembering your name, but I do thank you for that idea. I haven't forgotten about it. I know that was an idea from quite some time ago. But before I wrap up the episode, I want to show you guys one more thing. One of my viewers, and again, can't remember your name, I apologize. I'm supposed to write this stuff down so that when I'm talking about it in the episode, I can look at it like a little sticky note and go, yes, his name. This person's name, I want to say it was Sinon, Hangen. I will put it in the description to be 100% sure. I wasn't exactly sure on the pronunciation, but like I say, I know the first name was like Sinan, not sure how to say that. You'll see it in the description, and you know who you are by now. They gave me not some coordinates, but a message on how to find another spawner in my world. So as you can see, I just walked right past the zombie spawner where I have an XP farm. And if you go up this hill here, if you've downloaded my world, you can actually go find this yourself. There is a skeleton spawner in here. And there was a couple chests in here with some saddles and other goodies in there. But what I'm interested in doing is maybe somewhere in between. See, I believe you have to stand 15 blocks within a spawner to make them spawn. So I can't have one single XP farm, but I would at least like to connect those two rooms so that you can quickly travel back and forth. And if you want to farm skeletons, you can, or if you want to farm zombies, you can do that as well. And the skeletons will be nice because they will give me arrows, which essentially is like having unlimited arrows for your bow, which is very nice. Alright, so off camera, the plan is to build some more floating islands. And of course, some of them will be different biomes and such. There'll be like a desert one and all that. Look forward to doing that. And hopefully in the next episode, I will show you guys my project. So, hope this video helped you out in building your own floating islands in the sky. And I thank you for watching. See you later.